Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. I want to do a small series of talks on the subject of Bible study. Now, the fourth year Bible students this month are studying the book of Philippians, and in a couple of months' time they'll have another book to study. The question is, how do you study the Bible correctly? Is it a good way of doing it? Yeah, there is a good way of doing it. But before we get into the question of study, I want us to start thinking first of all about Bible reading. Now, the most important thing about Bible reading is that it must never take the place of Bible study, and Bible study must never take the place of Bible reading. You see, Bible reading by its very nature is just an ongoing experience. You take a passage and you just read it. Now, Harold St. John, one of my heroes, once confessed that he had read a passage 32 times in preparation for a particular service. Now, what that meant was that it had completely become part of his subconscious. He could probably repeat it. You see, after reading something through 30 times, you pretty well can remember it without any difficulty. In fact, it was said of Harold St. John that he had memorized the whole Bible. What an amazing feat that was. But the important thing is that by constant repetition, by reading the same passages again and again, so they become indelibly printed on our minds. And we can recall it even when we don't have a Bible in front of us. We can recall the words and we can feed on them and we can meditate on them. That's a very important thing. It's important to read, but it's also then important at a later date to think about the passages again and again. What we recommend with the Home Bible College is that you have a method of reading. Now, your method may be very different to everybody else's, and make an agreement with yourself as to how much you will read. People need to learn to read in larger quantities. We read a whole chapter each Sunday morning at our church. I think that the Bible hasn't been given to us in verses. It hasn't been given to us in just a sentence. The Bible has been given to us in large blocks of writing. And we need to teach ourselves to read more and to read all of it at any one time. One of the great friends of mine used to say that he used to sit down and read a whole book in one sitting. What a great thing. Now, some people might say, wow, that would take a long time. Well, it's possible in just over 71 hours to read the whole Bible out loud. Man, it's amazing, isn't it? You see, the Bible's a big book, but it's not that big. Now, it takes 52 hours, just over, to read the whole of the Old Testament, and it takes just about 18 and a half hours to read the New Testament. Okay, now the longest book, Psalms, takes about 4.5 hours. Okay, now one of the things that really helps with this, and one of the things that's really an amazing tool, is that it's possible either on the internet or possible on your phone, but certainly possible down at the local Christian bookshop, to buy a set of tapes or discs that will enable you to turn it on and to listen to the Bible being read. Okay, and you can effectively listen to the whole Bible being read beautifully. There's lots and lots of people that have done this and produced Bible readings, and so that's something we really highly recommend. Now, if a person reads about 4 chapters every day, then they will read through the whole Bible in about a year. It ought to be the ambition that every Christian will have read the Bible at least once. And I know many people who read the Bible every year. As a minister of the gospel, I have studied through the Bible every year for the last 8 years. That's quite a task in itself. This means that not only am I reading it every day, but I'm actually studying it, the passage that I read every day. Now this is very important, because what it does is it brings before you the constant refreshment of the scriptures. Now Charles Haddon Spurgeon had a reading plan whereby he would read the Bible 4 times every year. Now to do it 4 times every year, you would need to have what I call the 90-day plan. Now the Home Bible College has a 90-day plan, and this means that you read quite a lot every day, but you read according to a plan. So you're not reading too much or too little, but you do read quite a lot every day. Take a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, but you just sit and you just read. Okay? There's no substitute for reading. The Bible is not a Bible study book. Okay, we do study it, of course, but it's not a Bible study book. The Bible is a book to be read. Now, here's a little tip for you when you're reading, is before you commence the reading, just look at the passages you're going to read. Say you're going to read 4 chapters. Look at them and say to yourself, that's interesting. What questions can I think about that I might look for the answer to when I'm reading? Now what this does, it enables you to have some sort of purpose in reading. You feel as if you're going somewhere. You feel as if you're looking for something. And then of course read. But the next thing to do, we recommend, is that after you've read the passage through, looking for the answers to all the questions that you'd had in your mind, then shut the Bible and see if you're able to recall anything. Teach yourself to remember what you're reading. And then of course the last R is to review. So just have a flick back through the passage and have a look at those things that you've already forgotten. So I'll just repeat that. First of all, you survey, you have a look at the whole passage you're going to read, and then you question, set some questions, maybe 1 or 2, and then you read it, and then you recall it, and then you review it. Now what this will do, it'll help you in your reading to be much more purposeful, to have a particular point, to have a particular edge. So survey, questions, read, recall and review. There's also something else I recommend. The Home Bible College students are all recommended that they look for a password. As you're reading through, look for something that you can say, I like that. I like that phrase. I like that verse. And make that your password for the day. Now a password is not something that's just a sweet little thought. A password is something that's the very crux of the passage. It's something that the Lord gives you, something where He speaks to you, or something where He challenges you. And have that password. And during the day, when you're in contact with people, you might be in contact with other Christians during the day, then get your Bible out and share with them what your password is. You'll find that that will be the beginning of many, many fruitful discussions with your friends. So there we are. That's the first of these little series of videos. The big thing is to read the Bible. Read the Bible a lot. Teach yourself to read larger portions of the Bible. Okay? And as you read larger portions of the Bible, so it will sink deep down into your heart. Well, God bless you. I look forward to talking to you on the next study, where we'll talk about the various types of Bible study. Bye for now.